Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to the Invincible podcast, the greatest podcast in the universe. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Dana Abercrombie.
Woo! Excited to be here. It's the final countdown.
Yes. Carlos Romero
Yo, 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 what's going on?
and Brett Murdoch.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think Omni-Man got him.
Uh-oh.
What was I didn't hear my cue. What up, people?
There you are. Your cue was when I said your name. Maybe it was your dog distracting you.
Oh no, shit. I think my internet's like no good right now.
Uh-oh. I blame that on Omni-Man, So Richard Bailey Jr. may or may not join us. He's apparently stuck in traffic. Maybe there's like a superhero battle going on and things just got delayed. You never know. But yes, as Dana alluded to, we are here to discuss the mid-season finale of Invincible. And it was a scorcher. Lots of things happened. I was very pleased, So as we usually do around him, right, what's going on over there, brother? Oh man. Anyway, so as we usually do, we will give our quick thoughts on the episode, and then we'll jump into the specifics. So, I'll go first. It was fucking awesome. Here's the thing with Invincible: it's hard for me to complain. It's like it's good. It's fucking good,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, these guys are doing a great job of adapting things, and it's just fantastic. I also noticed, maybe we could bring it up later, that the show, maybe I'm bugging, but like the show looks better too than last season. Like one thing I noticed, like I haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen any background people that are CG like that were like last season that bugged the fuck out of me. I was like, oh, they're actually all drawn this time. But anyway, aside, episode was good. We got to see more movement and, of course, some hints to the future. So overall, good episode. And it's just that's my complaint, that we have to wait too goddamn long for the next one. Anyway, Dana, quick thoughts.
Okay, so like quick thoughts was I immediately want to contact you. It was like, just spoil everything. I don't care because I don't want to wait. The dynamic between Mark and Omni-Man is amazing. What it really seems to me, and I don't know because you would know, but don't tell me, but I want to know, is it seems to be, I want maybe, it's the humanity aspect of it. Omni-Man is because he was with Earth for so long, but not just with Earth. I think it was, but also with it because he was around Mark. You got to see his humanity slowly eating at him. And while we did not see the time that he spent when he was away, you felt it. You felt that he was genuinely struggling. And you felt that this new family, as terrible as it is, you abandon us and you created this other family. Is this something to just fulfill your soul because you're that empty? It really does seem like his humanity is shining through. Because why form this population with ants? Well, I don't know the things, but they're basically ants, and you're feeling this way. And he had this beautiful monologue, basically saying, they're weak. Why do I feel this way? And he was choking out his own son as he's saying this, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but I was wondering if we're going to start seeing a transference. I mean, not in this season of the more that Mark was around his father, he starts to lose more humanity, and Omni-Man gains that humanity. I don't know. I could just be throwing random theories out there, but I just really love that aspect. And then we also had the aspect of the mother having to just walk away. She was, that is terrible what happened to her. And her still having the conscience to think about other people and about the other families that were destroyed was completely brilliant. And also one of the things that I think the series does really well, we hear so many times, show don't tell. It told us so much in those moments where they just had the music playing, and it was like just a montage of things, and it didn't feel forced. It felt just completely natural because at the end of the day, what can you say? The family has been completely destroyed. So I loved it, and also I'm still kind of upset about the child. I mean, he isn't innocent and everything else, but you started a whole nother family. I don't know why, and it hurts me. And it was a part of me that was like, should the kid die to pay for Omni-Man's what he did, his consequences, and he's innocent, but they don't really care. So I was kind of cool with that. But it seems like I don't know how long they live, but you know, he might die off pretty soon, or maybe like 2 years.
Yeah. All right. Joining us, Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. is in the building. What's going on, Rich?
What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the delay. Traffic is a bit of an issue today, but we're good now.
All right. Yeah, I kind of like guessed that maybe there was a big superhero battle and it like delayed traffic for you. So, you know, that's what happens when these battles happen, man. But Rich, since you're joining us, can you give us your quick thoughts on Invincible before we do like a deep dive on this episode?
Yes, let me just say this, and I think I've already sent you this message, Tony. No offense to Marvel and DC, but this is the show I actually care about. And yes. I like how they take their time to do a lot of things. I know we were waiting very long for this season, and unfortunately, we're going to be waiting for the second half of the season, which I'm a little annoyed about. But I thought this was a great start to the season. The cliffhanger makes me very curious to see what happens next. But yeah, I thought it was a very good episode.
Good stuff. Carlos, quick thoughts.
Yeah, this season keeps improving with each episode, and it sucks because we're reaching a crescendo where we have to wait for a while, like you guys have mentioned. But yeah, overall, the episode was great. It just started off where it left off from the last one, and you know, like me and Rich and Dana and people who haven't read the comics we're all just starving to see what the hell's gonna happen next, because there's a lot of stuff that this show has left us with. We got good action, we got great story plots. We got Mark and Omni-Man hugging it out at the beginning, and we got a baby Omni-Man. So you know, what else can you ask for?
Good stuff. Brett, quick thoughts on the episode.
I thought it was good. I still don't know what the overarching, theme of the season / big bad is, but I don't care as much as I thought that I was going to, because I guess it would have kind of sucked to have them kind of release that and then, have to go on the hiatus. So I guess it's good that they left it. There seemed to be a bunch of irons in the fire, and I'm not really sure which way to look. But that's not necessarily unintentional. So we'll see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah. And that's something you kind of have to just go with, because that's one of the things that the comic did, which I personally loved. They just throw you 50 million things, and eventually it all comes like old comics used to be. And remember, when Invincible was coming out, this was the age of the 6-issue write it for the trade generation, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna wrap up everything in 6 issues, then we're gonna move on to the next story arc. Invincible is like old comics, where it's just here's little things, here's little things, here's little things. Oh shit, it all sprouted, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I think we should just jump into the main thing. The return of Omni-Man, the reunion. That was fucking good. Obviously Omni-Man had to lie again to get Mark to the planet and all that. But yeah, we saw the intro. He's like flying off in space, feeling some type of way. His beard's growing. I had to really just go with the whole scene with the black hole. I'm like, hold on, bro. You're at the event horizon. You shouldn't be able to get out of it. But that aside,
you should have been spaghettified. Yeah,
he should have been spaghettified. Like as soon as you're already being pulled into it, that you're done. That's it. It's over. But we'll leave that aside. That was cool. I like that whole montage. Like Dana said, it was cool not to just like be told it. You have to see it. I wasn't really a fan of the music. Every time there's like real music in these things, it throws me off. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's music from like that they made for the show itself, okay, but you could tell it's like licensed music, so it's like that was throwing me off a little bit. So I kind of had just ignore that and just look at the visuals, because the music was throwing me off. but it was cool to see him. Omni-Man. He came to the planet. The fucking insects that only live for like a year. And then we find out the reason he wanted Mark there because the fucking Viltrumites were showing up. We got to see some of that in the last episode. They're like, "Where's this motherfucker at?" And then we also found out that yes, if you're breeding with species that are not human-like, that's like travesty, and you got to die. So we had to see all of that. But there's a lot of things that went happening there. So let's take it one by one. The reunion of Mark and Omni-Man. What do you guys think of how that played out? Dana, you already kind of give us your thoughts on that, unless you want to expand on it a little more.
The reunion I thought was brilliant. It was very emotional, and I loved it. And you could see how they were both struggling. Well, one of the things I picked up later on after you're saying that, when my face is like, what? I wonder, he knew that they only lived like, say, a year. Was that just to dull the pain of what he did to his family? I'm going to create something new to replace that.
It was more that this is my takeaway, that he wanted to feel like a superhero again. He wanted people to look up to him again, And you could tell we're from fucking New York, Dana. I know that's your background. you could tell the fucking New Yorker right away. That's going to be me in a couple of minutes too. But yeah, so I think it was two things. Yes, I think it was, hey, I had this and I fucked up. Then also, hey, I miss being a superhero. All that the adulation that comes with it. Because remember, apparently he's like, at least what the show says is like, most Viltrumites go to the planet and just wreck shit and take over. He went there to become a superhero, and he felt that love that people had for him, because he's basically their version of Superman, So I think part of that was it. Is like, I want to feel that again, because he even said it. I'm feeling things I shouldn't be feeling, because he's just supposed to be like a heartless bastard like the rest of his race, So he is very different in that sense.
Yeah, so basically that's kind of what I loved about it. And that conversation that they had, or fight conversation, was really good. It was emotionally charged, and you didn't know what was going on, especially when he grabbed him and started like almost choking him. It was like, oh, he's back to normal. It was all just a ruse. And
I think it was more his instincts. Because he's still a Viltrumite. It's just he's trying to fight that. Yeah,
he's struggling, and so that's why I think it's wonderful that right now we still see that. I genuinely hope we don't get like, we're super friends and we go off and save the world together, but that he constantly has that struggle and that battle within, and he does not know what to do. I thought that, as I said before, that was wonderful, and there's this conversation of him finally able to say, you left us, you left mom, she's a wreck, look what you did to us. Why you showing these people so much love and humanity? Where was your humanity for us, and not just us but our people as well? And he really couldn't answer that, and I think that was the best answer, because he doesn't have the answers for himself. He is still struggling. So that whole reunion I thought was just wonderfully played. So I loved it.
Good stuff. Brett, get in here. What do you think of the reunion of Omni-Man and Mark?
I was a little disappointed that he kind of gave up, or not gave up, forgave him so easily. But it's I don't know. I kind of feel like a little bit different than some of the other people on here. Like I was immediately like, oh, you fucking forgave him. But then as it went on, like it struck me that Omni-Man didn't really understand why he was doing the things that he did, that he was doing, that he was kind of talking about like why do I care? Why am I like this? Why should I not let them be? Like he's kind of asking Mark like why am I fucked up? Why am I broken like this? Like he doesn't even understand that it's not necessarily being a broken thing. Like the way he sees it is by Viltrumite standards, and that there is something wrong with him. But by Earthling standards, there's not. So you kind of had this collision of two worlds going on. But like, I don't even know. Like, it might be that he does want to be a superhero again, but I think it'd be more like of a subconscious thing. Like maybe he likes the adoration, or he he missed the respect or he missed being needed or something like that. But like whatever it is on a surface level, I think it's actually really neat that he doesn't understand or know what's going on or why he's doing these things, because that speaks more to real world mental health issues. And like a lot of times in these scenarios, you expect people to like have this perfect understanding and this manifesto and an evil speech and a maniacal laugh all kind of prepped out, but it's clear he doesn't. He's just moving fast and breaking stuff, and it's broken and messy, and he doesn't really understand his growth, and it comes in fits and spurts, and it's not always just in one direction. It moves forward and kind of pulls back, and like to me that really speaks of like true character growth, and it's a very nuanced way to write that, and I think that's pretty cool.
All right. Carlos, what do you think of the reunion of Omni-Man and Invincible?
I felt like it was pretty good. I disagree a little bit with Brett, just because I felt like he never really forgave him. In this sense, I felt like it was just more like, I mean, Invincible at the end of the day is a good person. Mark, he's a good person.
Yeah.
He's a good human. So part of the way that Omni-Man got him there, part of the way that Omni-Man got him to go to his new family and to protect them is more towards the character that Mark is, more than Mark forgiving Omni-Man. Even though at the beginning he hugged him immediately, and then right after said pushed him, he's like, "What the fuck?" And so that's how I felt. Like he's obviously conflicted. He doesn't. He loves him because it's his dad. But I still don't think that he forgave him yet. Although Mark might understand more than we give him credit for. I just felt like he still hasn't gone there yet. Maybe he won't even ever get there. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if he will. But yeah, as far as that scene, I felt like it was done pretty well. It wasn't when he hugged him. I felt that's when I was upset, because that's when I was nervous, because I was like, oh no, is he? I thought it was going to be sort of kind of like what Brett's mentioned. He's like, oh, he just forgave him, and okay, what's up, Dad? What's going on? But no, like he hugged him because that was his instinct. But then he immediately realized, oh, this dude. Last time I saw this dude, he was almost killed me, destroyed a whole city, and killed a whole bunch of people, and called my mom a pet. So that, like, I felt like that was pretty well done, the way that, it showed his emotions towards his dad, but it still, made sure to show that, there's still conflict between this relationship.
Yeah. Rich, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also thought it was handled well. Definitely showed the complexity of their relationship. I do have one criticism though, and that is that whoever is the team that advertises and promotes this show, they actually released a partial scene from this right before as the trailer for the next episode, and they cut right before Mark hugged him. I don't like that they did that, because I much rather would have wanted to see the episode. Now I don't know how many people saw that clip, but they did that to advertise and say, yes, on the next Invincible. But man, I don't think we need that, because by the way the last episode ended, father and son are once again going to probably have some type of conversation. So you don't need to advertise that heavily. We know that's what's going to happen if you're watching the show. But I thought it was handled well, in my opinion.
I don't know why they do that, man. Can you imagine if Game of Thrones had done that?
Yeah.
So what they do, they just show the part where, like, because remember, right before the hug, Mark balled his fist, and even Omni-Man's like, "Oh shit!" It's not what they showed, and then they cut it off.
That's what they showed.
So predictable. So I haven't even seen that. I could already tell how they.
I love that. That was great. That's what Game was like. Oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. So you definitely want to tune in. I thought that was wonderful. Now if it was like, oh, and then he hugged him, I don't want to see that, because then I'm gonna think what everybody else was like.
Yeah, but you know why they had to do that. Yeah, you know why they had. I'm glad I don't watch these fucking promos. Even though it's like whatever, but still.
Even one of the promos even showed the kid. Remember, it was
Oh,
like one of the
really?
promos where
Wait.
the promo showed him kissing the ant
Wow.
lady, and like, here's your
Wow.
baby
What the
brother.
fuck?
Oh, that's not good. I
No,
didn't see that
yeah,
one.
they're crazy. They're insane. They're as bad as the Walking Dead people. You know, they fucking spoil shit during the episode.
Okay.
You know,
Wait, you
Yeah.
mean Kirkman's people are as bad as Kirkman's people?
Uh-oh.
no,
Yeah.
it's AMC versus Amazon's people. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, Kirkman, you need to rein both of these people in, man. You know. Remember that shit with Walking Dead? It was like when that one the first blonde girl died and shit. They were like,
Andrea?
oh, what do you think of what do you think? It's like, motherfuckers on the other side of the the country haven't seen this episode yet, right?
Mhm.
Like you realize the motherfuckers in Central and West and shit, they haven't seen it. You just spoiled everything. Anyway, so I want to talk about the I don't know what the Thraxans, I think they're called or something. Like they're a very interesting species too, because they were like, Omni-Man saved like 4 of them or whatever. He's like, you want to be our emperor? It's like, okay. He's like, they're very welcoming people if you think about it. It's like, hey, this fucking alien, let's make him our emperor. Hey, I'm gonna have sex with this guy. I'm gonna give him a baby. It's like very welcoming people for. It's like you're arthropods, fucking like a vertebrate. How weird.
Well, like the lady mentioned. She's like, it's not like that though. Or no, what was it, Dad? He's like, we don't do it like that.
Yeah, we don't do it. Well, you do it like something, But yeah, I thought that species was fun. I also like the weird alien architecture. That was kind of fun too. Even though it's like you have this weird ancient ruin looking like city, but you also have spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting to me.
I also like that it's obviously their lifespan is only a human year.
Yeah.
Or a human year in Earth. And it's like, well, we move pretty fast.
Yeah,
we
move fast. Yeah, see, that explains why I remember Homeboy from last episode. He's like, I've searched for you most of my life. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like 6 days is probably a lot for this motherfucker.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you guys have any thoughts on the Thraxans?
That's kind of what made their death so kind of great, and Omni-Man having a breakdown because they was just so welcoming and nice. And remember, as you said previously, he wanted to feel a superhero. What better group to make him feel like a superhero? He actually did save them, so yay for that. And it just continued. It was like, yay, we love you, and here's his, praise that we probably give you, which is something that is the complete opposite of him leaving. So I just like that whole thing, especially when they're all slaughtered. He feels extra sad because they're completely harmless creatures, and like humans that have some are good and some are bad. From my understanding, these were just peaceful, loving ants.
Yeah. There was also, the scene where Mark's like leaving the planet and stuff, and his dad's like, "Yo, you can't even fly that far. What the fuck is wrong with you?" But what was cool about the way they framed that was typically in superhero shows, and I'm talking about both cartoons and films or whatever, right? It's usually like the hero is like up here and then the city's below them, right? And it's framed kind of like too flat. This one was the city, the world was directly behind them, so it looked like they could fall. I'm like, that's a great way of establishing how high up they flew. Like I like that whole scene. It was just like, because you don't really see it framed like that. Even in comics, they don't typically do that. So always at a weird angle, whatever. It's like, this is like, if you're falling direct, they kind of like framed it that way. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, and what was cool about that scene was he also played to Mark's humanity, because he was like, okay, you may not want to help me, but you want to help them. I know you want to help them. And Mark's, you can see it like, fuck, I do. Because that's Invincible. That's what he does. He can't just be like, yeah, fuck this shit, I'm leaving.
That's
but obviously
also a part of the manipulation.
Yeah, you can see it that way. But then obviously, the big thing that happened was when the Viltrumites showed up. Shit wasn't pretty. Shit was not pretty at all, man. So yeah, what you guys think of that entire battle? I thought it was fucking brutal, man. I love that this show is not holding back on that stuff, because the comic was fucking brutal and this shit is brutal too, and all that was great, man. So Rich, what do you think of the big battle?
Well, a quick comment to make first.
Yeah.
I actually like the Viltrumites. Well, no, not the Viltrumites. I like the group that Omni-Man saved. Just a quick fun. The bugs. There you go. A quick fun fact. I'm not sure if you guys recognize it, but the woman that played the, I guess the mother, to the new child, that's the actress from Better Call Saul, Kim Wexler. That's the same actress. I didn't know if y'all recognize the voice. I'm sure Carlos maybe does. But yeah, that's the same actress. Do. Yeah. So, but no, to answer the question, the battle was badass. I got vibes of the first season and Omni-Man destroying everybody in the first episode. It had to be violent because they had to get their point across that they needed to take him out. So I thought that was great. I have no complaints.
Yeah, what'd you think of the 3 Viltrumites they fought?
Well, I thought for sure that Omni-Man killed the first one, but I guess I was wrong. The other 2, and these were some brutal deaths. Squashing heads and all types of stuff. I mean, yeah, you can see why they wanted this guy in the Mortal Kombat 1 game. No, I think they were a worthy challenge. And of course, I like the fact that there was the female one that tested Mark, making him try to, reach his full potential because he was getting whooped in the start of that fight. So, I thought they were a formidable challenge.
Yeah, I want to jump on that because I was like interesting. His father was like, "Listen, man, you're not fighting as hard as you can." He's like, "Yes, I am." It's like, "You're not trying to kill her. You ain't fighting as hard as you can." So that's something Mark's gonna have to like deal with. It's like, you want to go down with these motherfuckers, you got to fight them as hard as they fight you. And it looked like he got some of that. He didn't win, obviously, but he did better. Yeah,
well, unless you're trying to murder him, or unless you're trying to murder that bitch, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no, I'm fighting as hard as she is. Well, are you trying to murder her? No. Well, then you're not fighting as hard. That's straight up. You got to murder that bitch. That's how it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Brett, what'd you think of that? Her blades. I
want to ask that. I feel like a little like I bullshit a little bit. Like, I don't understand how the power set here works. Like, I've seen like how is Invincible bulletproof, but like a knife on the back of a braid being carried by momentum force. Like, how does that cut him? Like, I could even understand.
I asked the same question. So here's my question.
If you were holding it and stabbed him, I was like, even then, like, maybe she put like overwhelming force behind it. But like, this was just a thrown knife. Like, what is it? A special knife? Like, what?
Yeah. So I was just like, because I was like, hold on, it's a fucking knife. So I'm guessing it had to be some sharp ass, hard as fuck knife.
It's a Viltrum knife.
It's a Viltrum knife. There you go. Yeah. So that was my head canon. Like, okay, that had to be a hard ass fucking knife. Because you're right. Otherwise, like, no, fuck no, that wouldn't work. But it made for a cool visual.
Some kind of nano blade. But here's the thing I do. Like, that part was the only part that made me kind of like iffy. But the part I really did like about it is the Viltrumites feel super strong, but not super invulnerable. And I think that's a really interesting kind of mix because, like, you can watch Superman and Doomsday like punch a hole into the fucking center of the earth using each other's faces, and like maybe someone comes away with a black eye. Like, in this fight, if somebody catches an elbow the wrong way, granted it's a Viltrumite elbow, but if they catch an elbow the wrong way at high speed, that's gonna like break their ocular socket or like snap their neck or something like that. Like, Viltrumites are not as invincible as the show name would imply.
Yeah, because think about this. He fucking gutted that dude just by slicing him with his fingers. Like, you would figure like their stomachs would be stronger than that. So that's a good point.
He straight up collapsed that guy's skull with his own, like, it kind of reminds me in video games, and you like get to the point where I'm like, I'm so overpowered I could kill myself in one hit. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like that kind of overpowered, which I think is kind of great because it makes a sort of sense. And it's not even just, like, oh, the other Viltrumite hit them, but like they can slam, like, it's if you take one of their heads and you slam it into a concrete building at Mach 10, it's not like all the concrete's just going to give way and they're going to be fine. Like, it's going to fuck them up. Even, you know, knowing the tensile strength of concrete doesn't really change. You know what I mean? So it adds a sense of grounded realism to a fight that could very easily have gotten away from me otherwise.
Yeah. And I also like the part where, like, Nolan used the stalactite to, you know, by the way, is it stalactite or stalagmite? I don't know. But when he used that shit to pierce the dude's stomach, I don't think he would have been able to do that had he not already opened it up. You know, I think the rock would have just shattered on his stomach. So I think he had to open up and like, oh, there's a soft spot. Bam. You know, so there was some kind of logic there, you know. But I never thought about it that way. You're right. It's like, again, it is two Viltrumites fight, but it's like you can't fight physics. It doesn't matter how fucking strong you are. Someone punches you that hard and shit. And by the way, what was cool about this battle was like you saw Viltrumites really like Viltrumites in their prime fighting each other. It wasn't like, you know, Omni-Man fighting a fucking kid Viltrumite, his son. This was grown-up Viltrumites fighting each other. And that shit was, it was like this devastating the entire planet. Good thing the planet was already in ruins.
It also shows like the gulf, like
yeah.
So like these guys are you get the sense they're the elite fighting force, and Nolan is like this legendary warrior among their ranks. So like the fact that there's a gulf between him and the other elites, that's like being like, oh, this guy is so far ahead of the Navy SEALs, and the Navy SEALs are so far ahead of your average everyday other people, that really kind of goes to show like, while Omni-Man is insanely strong, that's not necessarily the power level we can be expecting for the entire race. Like before this, I didn't know, maybe it was there and I didn't catch it. I didn't know Nolan was like a war hero the way that they talked about him. Like, I didn't realize he was, you know, a crazy badass among their ranks. I thought he was just some average dude. So I was like, dude, is there a whole planet of Nolans? Not really. It doesn't seem that way, at least right now.
Yeah. Although the power gulf is crazy, because remember the first Viltrumite, he was like literally holding Mark down with his finger. It's like, oh yeah, shit. You know, he was just holding him down with his finger, one finger. He's just like, you know, like, damn. That shows you how far Mark has to go, you know.
Yo, man, you Viltrum nothing.
Man, you nothing, you know. But yeah, Carlos, what do you think of that crazy ass battle?
It was great. Love the brutality. Loved that, you know, there was a coordination between Omni-Man and Invincible. And Invincible had some character growth, or at least some fighting growth, because I mean he still got his ass kicked, but I mean at least he was doing well against better competition, not against these low life like antagonist scum on Earth. It's like, you know, you're fighting. This is the big leagues right now, and yeah, it was done pretty well. Although I will say, I don't know if the show implied what the hell happened to the mom and the kid, because apparently the guy that was in the cave with them that apparently died was not dead.
That's a good point.
So I wonder if anything happened to them or to any of the people. I don't know if they're the last surviving members of the race, because I couldn't tell whether the most of the people escaped or they were all dead, like along with the other people that were dead, you know, where they showed them. So I'm curious to know what happened to them.
Yeah. Dana, what do you think of the battle?
I thought the battle was something out of Mortal Kombat fatalities. It was wonderful. It was well animated, and you know, it kept me really interested. And I love the pace of it. And this is, you really get to see Mark's growth, because season 1 Mark, he would have just easily just died. They would have breathed on him and he would just collapsed. So I loved how you've seen him grow. And this is the part where I was talking about the humanity part, because he kept saying you have to kill. You're holding back. You have to go for the juggler. You have to actually kill them. And I wonder, the more time that he spends fighting them and with his father, because we do know that he, you know, is scheduled to be executed, and he's going to probably fight to get him out. I wonder again, with that killing that he has to start doing, will he start losing a sense of himself? But with this fight, it was just a really great lesson for him to learn. And I wonder how he's going to apply this to future fights. But overall, it was just really superb. And then we'll talk about later that huge knockout blow was just, it came out of nowhere for me. So I loved how they paced that as well. And the dude with the intestines, just kind of hanging out, I thought that only Viltrumite can kill other Viltrumites because their powers, their strengths are basically the same. So to me, the fight kind of made sense with the whole, even though it's just, a knife at the end of a blade, it's because she's wielding it. That's how he's able to get stabbed up.
And it's probably a Viltra knife, as Carlos calls, because it has to be hard. It can't just be regular ass knife. But yeah, that leads to the how everything ended. Like you guys already said, it's like Mark learned. Even the Viltrumite's like, listen, man, you're pretty good. We're gonna keep you alive, but you better take over Earth, motherfucker, because we're coming back. We're coming back. And if you haven't done what we told you, we're killing everybody, or millions of people. Because he said, if you don't kill a few people to show us your loyalty, we're going to kill millions of people,
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm thinking, so there's two things. There's that, and then there's the dad is about to be executed. So thinking about the overarching theme, I'm curious how it's gonna go from here. It's like, are they gonna show Mark, taking care of Earth and stuff like that, or getting Earth ready for a possible invasion, or is Mark gonna be like, I'm gonna go save my dad? And I'm curious to know where it all goes. But yeah, it's brutal, man. Shout out to Omni-Man. He finally did something with his son other than pushing him in a bike for like 2 seconds before he had to dip.
Yeah,
but
man.
see, this makes you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Myself, I was just gonna say that it puts him in his father's place, where he has this big struggle and decision that he has to do. And like, let's be honest, nobody on Earth is gonna be able to, as many, you can have all the troops and nuclear or whatever as you want, they're not gonna be able to save him or save themselves from the Viltrumite. So I think that it kind of gives him more perspective of where his father was coming from, even though his father sucks and is terrible.
Yeah, you're the man now, dog. Yeah, that's what's going on there. But yeah, and then obviously the what Omni-Man said to him, read my books. What'd you guys think of that?
That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint for, I don't know, something. Maybe the Viltrumite homeland. Maybe to unleash even more of his powers, or maybe he's got cookbooks. I don't know.
Did the show, by the way, did the show ever say what kind of writer he was?
Maybe, I just don't recall.
I could tell you, but I don't want to. I don't want to spoil it.
It looked like it was sci-fi.
He was sci-fi. Okay, so they did say it.
Yeah, so I could tell that from the covers of the books.
Yeah.
When they showed them in the episode, but I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. So think about it. Again, I'm not, because I know obviously he's a sci-fi writer. What do you think he's writing about? Things may be a little autobiographical, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that line is important. It wasn't just some throwaway bullshit. It wasn't like, read my book, like the critic.
Well, he's telling him to read his books, but apparently Debbie's about to throw them away. So who's gonna read those books?
I don't know, man. Anyway, you guys have anything you want to say about Omni-Man and all that stuff? Because Carlos kind of gave me the perfect segue into the next thing. What's up?
Now just thinking, buy my books.
Buy my book. Oh man, but yeah, let's go back to Earth. Because there's still drama going on down there. And yeah, Debbie, she's still going through it. By the way, that intro with her was too. It's like, what city are you walking around in that's completely empty and you're barefoot? That was weird to me. Like how early in the morning you get up to walk around and the sun's out. It wasn't until she went beyond the homeless bum fucking shit in the sewers that we actually saw people outside You know, what do you call those they have in California?
State of shock.
The bum fucking tents or whatever.
Homeless people, houseless, tent
Yeah.
city, because
Yeah.
you know anyone can be homeless.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway,
Tent
but
city.
yeah, so before she went through the bum city and shit, the actual city itself was just fucking empty. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But beside that, you know, they're showing that she's feeling some type of way. She's going through it. And interestingly enough, you could tell she's kind of like, man, you could tell she kind of misses him, you know, despite all the bullshit, you know. So what would you think of that? Carlos, you could start us off.
Oh yeah, I mean they spent 20 years together. She was getting free trips to Paris. Who wouldn't miss that? Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the episode, they showed the homie. Was he a bartender? I forgot what he was.
Oh, the guy at the end, the guy who makes the costumes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the costume guy.
Yeah.
They even show the costume guy like reminiscing about Omni-Man. So they both miss him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, I don't know if she'll feel the same way after she finds out that homeboy got a bug pregnant. But we'll see.
Oh man. But yeah, that whole again, I like the fact that they're actually showing the other characters too. It's not just Mark's thing, you know. It's not, you know, so that's well done. Rich, what do you think of Debbie's journeys? You know, is her continuing journey trying to, you know, go through all the craziness that happened?
Well, I mean, I think it does make sense. It keeps it realistic because, as Carlos said, they spent 20 years together, so she should be struggling to try to you know, forget about this part of her life. It does make me question as a viewer if there will be a reunion in the future. Obviously, you know, Tony, you were the only one that will be able to answer that question, and you will not answer the question on this show. So we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, yeah, she does miss him. I'm glad that they showed that she's having these issues, but I definitely want to see what the end game is here because she doesn't know what's happening with her son right now, and that's going to be some concern when he does return with his new mission now.
Yeah, for sure. Brett, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry. On what exactly?
On Debbie, you know, what she went through this episode.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I don't honestly care that much. I'm trying to pull in the, I don't even know what you want to call it, the whatever, the interest. I get that she misses him. I just don't really. I know they're going somewhere with it. It's kind of lost on me. Other than maybe like they're grieving. She's grieving the loss of one life, and she hasn't really started another. But where they're going with it, I don't really know. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but also it's, I don't know. We've all had breakups that are bad. I guess I don't. Again, not really, not understanding the relevance, waiting for it to make more sense in context, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. Dana, what do you think of Debbie's journey there?
Yeah, we all had breakups that were bad, but I don't recall, you know, a lot of people with their ex trying to kill them.
No, okay,
So,
like I'm trying to minimize here. Like, I'm a widower, so like to me, like the loss of that relationship, it doesn't hit me the same, I think. So I'm just dead inside. So it's not hit me the way that it's supposed to. That's me. That's not the show.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, me too.
Oh dear. This escalated quickly. I do feel that, you know, she, again, we said it before, she is going through a loss. And it was something that was very sudden. This wasn't like, oh, I should have looked at the signs. There were no signs. I don't know where she goes from here. And I think that's because the character doesn't know where she goes from here. The only thing that she can think of is probably to just get away because there's too many memories. There's too many people that are attached to the life that she led. So even with her wandering the streets with no shoes on, I do feel like she's in a state of shock right now. So her not knowing and having a clear, defined moment of what's going to happen next, I feel that that serves a better purpose for the show because it adds that layer of just honesty in it. I'm the kind of person who doesn't want everything to be tied up in a bow and like, oh look, Omni-Man says please, I'm sorry, and everybody accepts him and we go back to having a happy family. It's a bit more complicated than that. Also, the other fact that he has another family, but that other family, we don't even know if they're alive. And even if they are alive, how long they live technically. Because that boy, even though he is part Ant-Man at this point, he's also Viltrumite. So maybe he doesn't die in like a year. You know, he may live longer. I don't know how that works. You would know, Tony, but you're not telling us anything.
The thing is, I don't know. They may have mentioned. Here's the thing: they may have mentioned it in season 1 because in that first arc in the comics, they actually do explain how Viltrumite physiology works in relation with aliens they mate with. But I don't know if
they explain that he's the baby is aging slower.
Yeah.
So that between the two of them, they don't understand what it's gonna. His physiology is going to be like. But before I move on, like I want to ask Dana, like I'm curious, what do you guys? I guess everybody, but mostly Dana on this one. Like, what do you think is the point of her grieving as opposed to dealing with trauma? Like, it seems more like grief than trauma. I'm curious about.
I thought it was the same. Are they not the same at this point?
Okay. I'm going to agree with Dana on this one. I think they're basically the same. She's doing both. It's trauma and she's trying to deal with it, you know?
Because it's not like you lost someone. This is how that person lost. This person betrayed you from day one. This was a manipulation and a plan from day one. And you knew nothing about it. So I thought that that was a traumatic experience right there. Then you're also losing not only just him, but the life that you thought you was going to have, the future you thought you was going to have together. So to me, I thought it was just compacted into everything.
Okay. So like, you don't like, do you think that her missing the person who almost murdered her is like just them kind of muddying the waters / subverting ideas?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it this way, it threw a breakup, you know. Even if that person is terrible, there are moments where that person wasn't. And there is going to be something that sweet that reminds you of that person. And that is going to be the struggle that you're going to have to face with and deal with, of learning how to completely separate those ties. You know, at the end of the day, they were a married couple, even though he is a liar and terrible. There were moments that she really thought were genuine. There could be, say, I don't know, a random song that plays that reminds her of him. That may be something that is forever. You're going to forever think of a situation that reminds you of, hey, that person over there, that relationship I had over there. Even though you may have moved on, there is still that reminder. And I think because right now, because it is so fresh for her, I mean, what was this? Literally, like, what, a couple months later? Yeah. That it's still there. So her reaction, I feel, at this moment is still justified because it wasn't like 3 years later. This was like still months, and you have to allow yourself to grieve. And then on top of that, she also has to still be a mother to Mark. Even though he's away right now, there's still always that worry. Is he okay? Is he safe? It's not like she can just take her complete attention and just devote it to, let me get over this situation. There's you saw with Cecil, there's the other guy. So there's other people that's in where she has to cut off that tie and in order to be free. But that's going to take a while for her. So again, I don't know where her future is, but for me, that's the most realistic approach.
Cool. Let's see what else. There's other stuff that other more incidental characters. Unless you guys want to jump in on that with anything.
No, I agree. Pretty much agree with Dana. I do want to be you're probably going to bring him up, Tony, but just in case, Dusty. Or Dustin. No, Dustin. Was it Dustin or Dusty? Oh, am I messing both of them up?
You mean the dude with the glasses?
Yeah.
Cecil?
No, not Cecil. Cecil, his underling. Cecil is the head guy.
Cecil's the guy under him.
Yeah, the one who slipped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk. Yeah. Now I'm forgetting his fucking name. Yeah. The guy with the glasses, the guy who was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why is Debbie looking at me like that? So he's investigating what happened. And, let's just cut to the chase. He found out that he got killed by Omni-Man. So I really like that scene in the bathroom, right? Where he takes a knife and he cuts himself to see if he's bleeding. Like, oh, thank God. But then he sees the tip of the knife bent. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, what did he hit? And Cecil, that motherfucker is always up to some shit, So it's like, is he a clone? Is he a robot? What is he? He's asking himself this stuff now, So that was cool. Again, that's what I love about Invincible, man. Even the little characters get shine, And again, no spoilers, but all this stuff pays off. All this stuff does eventually pay off, guys. So this ain't fucking George R. R. Martin just running on tangents. You will get payoff. Go ahead, Brett.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, okay. But I'm saying that more for you, Brett. There will be payoffs. Don't worry, sir.
Okay.
Because it can't feel like that. Like, even when I was reading it, I was like, yo, where are we going here? But like, this is a phrase that you taught me. They're planting a bunch of stuff so it could grow later instead of just tilling the land constantly.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah,
it's I like how they really do subvert expectations, not just in terms of like setting up things the way that you normally would, but then going a different direction. Like, they just kind of the formula feels fresh in a lot of different ways. Like you said, like kind of like where they're throwing in all the different characters, and then some of them will pay off now, some of them will pay off later. We're not trying to have everything self-contained, do it by the book, build it into a trilogy, and then move on to the next one, kind of thing. They're letting the roots run deep on these ones. So, I like it. I think that's the reason we're all here. That one of the reasons we all kind of love the show so much is because, even after, 40 years of digging Cape and Cow stuff, something comes along and still keep you guessing. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
By the way, the name was Donald.
Yeah, Donald. Yeah. I want to say this. The other day I watched, and I'll link it to you guys after the fact. I saw an interview with Robert Kirkman talking about Invincible. And I love I didn't know that he is actually one of the writers on the show. Like, he's there. Like, the guy who made the show is actually there. So, and they even said, it's like, oh, how come you're not changing too much stuff? And Robert Kirkman has to answer in his typical Robert Kirkman. It's like, I'm lazy. I'm just going to do whatever's in the book. So that was great. It's like, good. As long as they have him there, that lets me know they're not going to go into some weird fucking crazy direction. I'm looking at you, Doctor Who, but we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, Donald was fun. Yeah, it used to be good until like 2015, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so yeah, Donald, that was fun. We got to see some like more Adam Eve stuff. She went back home. That was basically the just crux of it. She went back home. Also, one of the things I like about the show, it's like, yo, there's consequences when you're fighting these superhero battles, right? Like, again, it's like, you can't just be, I'm gonna punch you. It's like no, you're probably gonna get people killed. You got to be careful here, because she was like staying at the old with the what the name was the name of the team, the Teen Force or some shit. She was staying at their base for a while. And dude was like trying to steal something from Robot. By the way, we didn't get any Guardian stuff this episode, but I guess that'll be for later, and I think that's everybody. Oh, the Mauler twins. The Mauler twins. So yeah, he made a clone. And Carlos, you called it. It's like he's gonna make another clone. So he made a clone. And he's like, no, now we know for a fact who's the clone. And he's bossing him like he's a bitch.
He's got the messed up face.
That was funny.
Man, they're gonna the Mauler twins. They're gonna end up being the victors in the end, man. I hope so.
And I like the end. He like, give me some fucking orange juice. Like, I got you, man. He gives her that poison shit. It's like, some things you should just not mess with. So you already know what's gonna happen next. You already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna make a clone, and we're gonna get who's the clone. All this bickering. But they work better that way. They work better that way.
Yeah, they're more equals, and they can share. They're more intertwined, more intrinsic in the way that they think when there's equals.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. It might not be a return to form where they're just like, oh, I'm the clone. No, you're the clone. You're the clone. Because now both of them know, because they're from that one, that like nobody wants to know who the clone is. That's bad news. So maybe they won't fight over it anymore, which might actually be interesting character development.
Fun stuff. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the episode. We have any last thoughts around here?
I don't have a last thought, but I do have a last question.
Uh-oh.
Does anyone know when? Do we have a date on the next episode?
Dana, I'm looking at you.
Yes, we do.
Oh.
The date is early 2024, Carlos.
Oh, that's concrete date.
Listen, I'll take that over 2024. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the date. It was just 2024. It's like that could literally be fucking December. You know, so that's good. Early, the first quarter, hopefully. You know.
Well, hopefully.
What's up?
I don't mean to sound ungrateful or anything like that, but like, other than writing strike aside, like, bro, how did we get so many episodes of Batman the animated series in like one season, and like now it's so hard. We have computers now. What's going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We're like, here's
It's about how
episodes.
shows are commissioned.
Yeah, I guess it's
less
about
now. It's about how shows are commissioned. You know, we don't. For example, we don't get 22 episodes of TV shows anymore.
Yeah.
We get like maybe 12 if we're lucky. 10 is
It's
like
a
the
damn
standard.
shame. I want the return of 24 to 48 episode seasons.
Well, also, that's also why they was striking, so that they pay them less that way. Because we only have, say, 8 episodes compared to 12, so we don't
dirty
have to pay you as
motherfuckers.
much.
So yeah, because you would figure, hey, there's less episodes, you get paid more for episode. Nope, you get paid for the same as what? Damn, that's some dirty shit.
Once you reach certain seasons, when residuals start kicking in, which why we had a whole strike.
Yeah.
Residuals start kicking in. So now we're gonna cut it down to here's your 8 or your 10. Good luck. And if start noticing, not with Prime right now, but especially Netflix, because they start canceling right when that residual is supposed to hit in.
Yeah, that's
or they'll reboot the series. Let's reboot it, so then that way we don't have to pay you. It's the same show with the same characters, but it's a new name, so we don't have to pay you because it's technically new. So,
dirty motherfuckers. All right, like we usually do. What do you want to see when Invincible returns? Brett, I'll start with you.
I want to see Aldi Brand Khan come back. I want to see what goes on with him.
That's fun. Rich, what about you? What do you want to see when Invincible returns? What do you hope to see? Oh, I think Rich is muted. All right. There he is.
Yeah, when Invincible returns, I would like to see. Let's see where Mark goes from here. Obviously, he has a very important mission and some decisions to make. So I want to see where they're going with that. I also want to see the return of the villain that was introduced in the first episode and what he's up to, because clearly there's more to go with that as well. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it coming back to see where they go from here.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Armstrong Levy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's up, Brett?
I just realized I look forward to seeing when Mark's younger brother is older than him.
Oh man. Dana, what do you? Yeah, no, go ahead. It's your turn now. What do you want to see when Invincible returns?
Well, there's a lot of things. How exactly do we protect Earth? Can we protect Earth? Will there be a new introduction of the Guardians? But will there be added superheroes that somehow is like we got to protect Earth, but at the same time, why just Earth? What makes Earth so special? So that should be really interesting. And then we also have Omni-Man is going to be executed. I'm going to think, I haven't read the comics, that's not going to happen. Wouldn't that be something if that happens though? ooh, yay. But no, it's not going to happen. But we have that and him being imprisoned. And then what happens if we have a situation where we're able to take out the Viltrumite completely? I think there's so many questions that could, be raised in obviously the second half, but just for the future episodes and the future seasons. So you have that going on, and then I know Mom. You guys really are not attached to the Mom character, but what happens when she finds out that he's alive, and not just alive, that he's working with Mark? That's a whole nother thing that has to work itself out. And does Omni-Man even come back to Earth? He stated he's not welcome there. So who is his home at this point now? Does he continue to just stay adrift and float into space? Is he going to actually fight for his home and fight against the Viltrumite this time? We don't know, because Mark himself, yes, he can technically just kill everybody and call it a day, but I don't think that has that humanity side. He's not going to do it. So who exactly do you recruit that can help him? It can't just be him and his dad. Him and his dad almost died, and that was just one-on-one fights. What happens when you have a whole team of them? So, yay. The next,
like I said, the
second
Muller
half.
twins, man.
Muller twins.
No, the Muller twins. Yeah, you have them. You have
Oh,
them.
man.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be good.
All right, Carlos, what do you want to see when the show returns?
I just want to see Mark choose a direction soon. I don't want the next half of the season just being him contemplating the whole time. It's like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? That should last an episode and then finally get to it. But if we spend the next 4 episodes or the last 4 episodes of the season being like, should I conquer Earth, or should I do this or do that? And if the whole last half of the season's like that, I feel like it'll be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. But also remember, there's still a lot of things up in the air, shit on Mars, for example, there's a lot of things what happened with our boy Alan the alien. It's a lot of shit.
Alan, man. Shout out to Alan, man.
Shout out,
Dude, can I give it up for, what is it, Shape Morpher, whatever the hell his name is?
Oh yeah, yes, the Shapesmith.
The Shapesmith, yes. He comes in to borrow the treadmill and then just jumps on the treadmill and starts running in place. It fucking killed me.
Shapesmith character, man. All right, people. So that's going to do it for Invincible podcast. Good stuff as always. I guess we'll be back early next year with another one. But yeah,
early
before we wrap up, so we had 2024. People, stay tuned. All right, let's start plugging some stuff. So you could catch me, Brett, and Carlos over on Throwdown every Thursday and Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. We talk about the video games, and we will be having our last normal episode this week, and then after that, we're going to have the Game Awards stream / roast, and then the end of the year special, and then we're also going to have the AMA special to really finish off the year. So stay tuned for that. Dana, what do you have to plug?
Oh, I stay muted. Good Lord. We're running around. We got Oscar coverage that's happening really soon. We're going to do a spotlight on every movie. I've been doing a lot of interviews. It's not posted up yet, but we're doing a lot of interviews with that. Also, we have Raising Kanan season 3 that's coming up. I have a huge press junket for that as well tomorrow, where we're going to be interviewing the entire cast, solos and roundtables and all the good yummy stuff. So you have that to look forward to. And yeah, just basically that. Everything that's Oscar, like, for your consideration. So everything from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to, I don't know, something really serious like Origin. That's like, yay, racism. So everything you can ask for is going to be trickling down this season or this quarter. I'm not sure. Yes. So that's basically the big things that we have right now that's going for us.
All right. Rich, what's going on with the Koalition, man? What other stuff is going on?
Well, yeah, as Dana mentioned, Razor Kanan, looking forward to that. Stay tuned for that on the main channel. We also did a review of Carlos Romero's favorite show of 2023, Fear the Walking Dead. And let me tell you right now, I'm glad that show is over because it is complete garbage. So yeah, if you want to hear our thoughts on it, then check out the main channel because our review is over there. As for the Koalition, we're talking about a few different gaming things we're going to be doing, going into December. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to announce anything too soon, but stay tuned to the Koalition Gaming, and there'll be some other stuff coming. So looking forward to that.
All right, good stuff. All right, people, that's going to do it for us. We will see you in a few months' time, man. Yeah, that's it. We'll see you later.
Peace.
Peace.